your debunking or kind of putting a flashlight of truth on this will be really important. And so I'm going to screen share a slide. I'm sure we've all seen this slide. If you're in real estate and people know you're in real estate, they've asked you about this slide. Logan, like, what's the deal here, man? What's going on?
It is such not a big deal that I even refuse to even talk about it. I mean, when I saw this, the first thing I thought about it was that the pricing changes made last year to cash out loans and second homes or investment was more of a bigger deal just to that sector. This is just kind of moving the fee, really the discount fees on pricing on certain loans that, as my chart showed all the way back with the credit FICO scores, low FICO score Americans don't buy homes. They will not buy homes after 2010. We've changed the credit system. So in a sense, this is an ineffective way to try to think this is going to move the needle. And it's just not, it's not that big doing on the matrix. So that was my first and open take. And of course, everything gets blown out of proportion. But it's, to me, it's one of the least important stories of 2023 because it won't move the needle either way. If you have a good FICO score, you're still going to get the best rate. If you have a lower FICO score, which we don't even see lower FICO scores, people really applying for loans in any big fashion. This has been a big part of my work actually for 10 years. They're not going to move the needle on that side either. And you're still going to get on majority of the loans, still A paper pricing. So it's a non-event really in the big scale terms. I think if you wanted to make it a bigger event, you would really flip the pricing to the lower credit side. And they didn't. They just basically moved some of the fees from one end to another on certain programs that it just doesn't have much velocity. But it's great for headlines, though. If you want to do headlines, this is unbelievable, right? But it really shows that you can't get your information from Twitter, TikTok, or the news unless you're like really versed. And again, I'm talking as somebody who's said for many years, there's no tight lending in America. We've always had very liberal lending standards. You could get FHA loans with 620 FICO scores. It's just that these people don't apply for home mortgages, right? Because the reason you have a low FICO score is that you can't make your credit card payments on time. You have huge balances, usually means you don't have a lot of cash flow or reserves. They don't buy homes. It's never going to turn. And it's been actually one of my debating talking points for 10 years with Wall Street or institutions that want to get lending more liberal. But I say it's not going to do anything. It just doesn't work. After 2010, when the Q qualified mortgage laws are in place, we're all good and we're still going to be good. Not a big event.
Yeah. And for the agents listening, the key to understand about that headline is it does not mean that a borrower or potential borrower with a lower FICO is going to get a better deal than somebody with a higher FICO. What it's doing is it's comparing the rate of change of the old loan level pricing adjustments to the new ones. And so we can put out some more data on this so that you all can understand it. But I think Logan nailed it. It's a big headline. It gets people to click on stuff. It's sensational. It's probably actually a little misleading.
Anything that can make people think that lower FICO score people are buying homes are going to push it to 2008. 2008 is a marketing gimmick. That's why the housing crash people use it for their great YouTubes. It's not the case. And again, that's why I put all those credit channel charts up there so people can understand lower FICO score Americans don't even apply for loans. They're never going to be a part of the big factor. It's actually an ineffective way, to be honest with you. If I had to talk to the FHFA and say, you did this for no reason, it's not going to be a really big movement on this. But the terms of this really pushing the market on one side, it's laughable out there. But for me, it was actually funny to see this, how it became a big deal, because I always say that they're trying to manipulate you, right? They're trying to make you think about 2008. That's their job because they need you to watch, they need you to click. That's what they do. This is the yellow journalism, sensationalism, the post-2008 social media world we live in. And people like me, we're boring, we know it, but we try to bring the facts into it, the data into it, which I know is not exciting. I always say that if you do economics right, it's not that exciting.